Hi, who is interested in learning with me about internet connection? There's a lot of things I don't understand about internet connection. I need to clear this up, so I'm going to read the text from Wikipedia. I've got it in front of me. I'm going to read a long text, and I'll try to uh, make you understand something if I understand something. Like the World Wide Web, it's an interconnection of a whole bunch of routers, computers, servers, and a lot of hardware that keeps information going smoothly from your house in London to my house in Belgium to my friends in Africa to my other friends in China, etc. That's the World Wide Web. It's an interconnection of communication. Now we are going to begin with internet access. It's a facility or service that provides connectivity for a computer network or other network device to the internet, and for individuals or organizations to access or use applications such as email and the World Wide Web. Internet access is offered for sale by an international hierarchy of internet service providers, ISPs. So you see, the internet is not free. The hardware is, but the internet is not free. Or is it the other way around? Please comment if somebody knows the answer. What is mine? The hardware, the laptop, the keyboard, or the internet? The information that flows from your house to my house, is that mine, or I don't know. Anyway, internet access is offered for sale by an international hierarchy of internet service providers, ISPs, using various networking technologies at the retail level. Many organizations, including municipal entities, also provide cost-free access to the general public. Types of connections range from fixed line cable, such as DSL and fiber optic, to mobile via cellular and satellite. The availability of internet access to the general public began with the commercialization of the early internet in the early 1990s and has grown with the availability of useful applications, such as the World Wide Web. In 1995, only 0.04% of the world's population had access, with well over half of those living in the United States. And consumer use was through dial-up. By the first decade of the 21st century, many consumers in developed nations used faster broadband technology. By 2014, 41% of the world's population had access. Broadband was almost ubiquitous worldwide, and global average connection speeds exceeded 1 megabit per second. The Internet developed from the ARPANET, which was funded by the US government to support projects within the government at universities and research laboratories in the US, but grew over time to include most of the world's large universities and the research arms of many technology companies. Use by a wider audience only came in 1995, when restrictions on the use of the Internet to carry commercial traffic were lifted. In the early to mid-1980s, most Internet access was from personal computers and workstations, directly connected to local area networks, LANs, or from dial-up connections using modems and analog telephone lines. LANs typically operate at 10 megabits per second, while modem data rates grew from 1,200 bits per second in the early 1980s to 56 kilobits per second by the late 1990s. Initially, dial-up connections were made from terminals or computers running terminal emulation software to terminal servers on LANs. These dial-up connections did not support end-to-end use of the Internet protocols and only provided terminal to host connections. So you see from where we come from. We come from the 80s. There was Internet access from personal computers and workstations, or from dial-up connections using modems and analog telephone lines. But it grew. It started at if I can read right, if I can see it right, it started from 10 megabits per second, while modem data rates grew from 1,200 bits per second in the early 1980s to 50 kilobits per second in the late 1990s. So you got 10 years. In 10 years, they swifted from 1,200 bits per second to 56 kilobits per second. Now that's the growth. That's great. Let's move on. The introduction of network access service supporting the serial LAN Internet Protocol, and later the point-to-point protocol, triple P, extended the Internet protocols and made the full range of Internet services available to dial-up users. Although slower, due to the lower data rate available using dial-up. An important factor in the rapid rise of Internet access speed has been advances in MOS transistor technology. The MOSFET, I'm talking about MOSFET, I think, in one of my videos. Go check it out. It's in the playlist of electronics. I got a lot of playlists. Check it out. There's a lot of content in there. I got over 1,000 videos. You can swim in there. The MOSFET, invented at Bell Labs between 1955 and 1960, following Coast's discoveries, is the building block of the Internet telecommunications network. The laser, originally demonstrated by Coates in 1960, was adopted for MOS, light wave, systems around 1980, which led to exponential growth of the Internet bandwidth. Continuous MOSFET scaling has since led to online bandwidth doubling every 18 months. Coast's law, which is related to Moore's law, with the bandwidth of telecommunications networks rising from bits per second to terabits per second. Well, that's a great shift. Broadband internet access, often shortened to just broadband, is simply defined as internet access that is always on and faster than the traditional dial-up access, and so covers a wide range of technologies. The core of these broadband internet technologies are complementary MOS, CMOS digital circuits, the speed capabilities of which were extended with innovative design techniques. Broadband connections are typically made using a computer built-in Ethernet networking capabilities, or by just using an NIC expansion card. We did not have those expansion cards. Those are old-timers now, I think. I remember those expansion cards back in the days when I was a small, young kid. My father used to work with them, but now I don't see them anymore. Now it's done by some other techniques we're about to read about. Most broadband services provide continuous always-on connection. There is no dial-up and process required, and it does not interfere with voice use of phone lines. Broadband provides improved access to internet service, such as faster World Wide Web browsing, faster downloading of documents, photographs, videos, and other large files, telephony, radio, television, and video conferencing, virtual private networks, and remote system administration, online gaming, especially massively multiplayer online role-playing games, which are interaction intensive. In the 1990s, the National Information Infrastructure Initiative in the U.S. made broadband internet access a public policy issue. In 2000, most internet access to homes was provided using dial-up, while many businesses and schools were using broadband connections. In 2000, there were just under 150 million dial-up subscriptions in the 34 OECD countries, and fewer than 20 million broadband subscriptions. By 2004, broadband had grown and dial-up had declined, so that the number of subscriptions were roughly equal at 130 million each. In 2010, in the OECD countries, over 90% of the internet access subscriptions used broadband. Broadband had grown to more than 300 subscriptions, and dial-up subscriptions had declined to fewer than 30 million. The broadband technologies and the wireless use of digital subscriber line, DSL, ADSL, and cable internet access. Newer technologies include VDSL and optical fiber extended closer to the subscriber, in both telephone and cable plans. Fiber optic communication, while only recently being used on premises and to curb schemes, has played a crucial role in enabling broadband internet access by making transmission of information at very high data rates over long distances much more cost-effective than copper wire technology. In areas not served by ADSL or cable, some community organizations and local governments are installing Wi-Fi networks. Wireless satellite and microwave internet are often used in rural, undeveloped, or other hard-to-serve areas where wired internet is not readily available. Newer technologies being deployed for fixed, stationary, and mobile broadband access include WiMAX, LTE, and fixed wireless. Starting in roughly 2006, mobile broadband access is increasingly available at the consumer level using 3G and 4G technologies such as HSPA, EVDO, HSPA Plus, and LTE. Now we're going to go further with another section called availability. Now we're going to leave this section what we have just read. If you have questions about this, what I've just read, please post them in the comments. Post them in the comments. It's my job. I will find the answer for you. A clear answer, the most clear answer you can find on the internet. I'll post it in the section of the posts of the comments. Just comment or give a like. Anyway, availability. In addition to access from home, school, and the workplace, internet access may be available from public places, such as libraries and internet cafes, where computers with internet connections are available. Some libraries provide stations for physically connecting users' laptops to LANs. Wireless internet access points are available in public places, such as airport halls, in some cases just for brief use while standing. Some access points may also provide coin-operated computers. Various terms are used, such as public internet kiosk, public access terminal, and web payphone. Many hotels also have public terminals, usually fee-based. Coffee shops, shopping malls, and other venues increasingly offer wireless access to computer networks, referred to as hotspots, for users who bring their own wireless-enabled devices, such as a laptop or PDA. These services may be free to all, free to customers only, or fee-based. Wi-Fi hotspot need not to be limited to a confined location, since multiple ones once combined can cover a whole campus or park, or even an entire city can be enabled. Additionally, mobile broadband access allows smartphones and other digital devices to connect to the internet from any location from which a mobile phone call can be made, subject to the capabilities of that mobile network. Next up is speed. I'm going to stop here so you can put all your questions in the comments of this little section that we have just read. I hope you followed correctly and good, so you can ask good questions, and I will find you good answers. I'm going to stop this video, so I'm going to make it as short as possible so everybody can follow along. Next up is speed after this video cut off. See ya.